Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I just want to tell you thank you so much for coming back, and if you're new, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So I was just in bed and I was like going through my phone and I'm like, yo, I should probably do a story time. It's going to be about a time a nigga did me dirty. No, about a time I let a nigga do me dirty. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. This video is like going to be so fucking long, but I'm going to try to like cut it or like summarize it as much as I can. So I got done from NYC. I finished NYC I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I finished NYC 2019 and I headed straight home. I went back home, but then the clinic where I worked, or the lab where I worked, my boss was so fond of me, and you know, we're just on a very good term that she really did not like it that I went back home without getting a job. So she was always like, I dropped my CV with her. She was always helping me to look for things, and I was also looking for a job like on my own, but she was like trying her best. So there was a time she told me, oh, there's this the company that is like funding us is running a volunteering program, that would I mind doing it? And I was like, I would mind, no, because like the pay wasn't that good, but she was just like, see guy, it's just for the experience, don't look at the money for now. So I'm like, okay, cool, I go. And then I start volunteering at this other lab. It's a bio lab, so I'm like there volunteering, and I'm just minding my business. I'm in my corner with the rest of the guys that are volunteering. Like, those are the only people I talk to. We don't talk to like the main staff. Like, what are you even talking to them about? So like, and then this guy just comes and he's like, oh, he sends someone who like to talk to me. I'm just like, I don't like doing shit with people that I work with. Like, that is just bad omen. Like, I don't wanna. But I'm just like, I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? So I gave in, and I started talking to this guy, and I made sure I told him, please be patient with me. I'm not one to just see something and know what I want. I was like really young then. I think I was 20 or 19. I was barely 20. I think I turned, I don't know, I can't remember. I think I was 20. And I'm like, I don't see something and just know what I want. And this guy's like 7 years older than I am. So I'm like, you have to be patient with me. I have to take my time. Don't force me to start professing love to you. I know that's not going to work out that way. But just trust me that I'm not doing anything on the side. So he's like, no, I'll wait for you. Even if it takes 1,000 years, you know. When did he find something? You know how they will be. Oh, I'm going to wait for you even if it's 1,000 years. Okay. So we start doing this thing, and I'm just like slowly getting to know this person, talking to him. He's like so quiet, so gentle, and I'm like, sometimes I just want to shake him, like, come on. Where I started getting red flags, he was so adamant about me speaking to his parents or like speaking to family, and I'm like, I've never had a relationship where, calm down, it's not that serious, where I'm already speaking to family members. I don't even think my sister talks to like my boyfriends. So like, why are you now talking about mommy and daddy? So he's like, oh no, and not to be rude, because like we're staying with his dad. His dad is here in Abuja, his mom is in another state. So he's like, oh, I should come over to the house, the dad would like to see me, blah blah. It just became impossible to dodge him, so I gave in and I went. I saw the dad, and this man is like so lovely. He was like so nice. He's like, oh, this guy has told me about you. I hope you guys know what you're doing. I hope it ends well, blah 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 blah. So pumped, like, oh, this is not actually a bad idea. This man is like really cool. So I come to the house like once in a while and all of that. So next thing was, I should talk to his mom on the phone. I'm like, oh my god, I thought you said just your dad. I'm like, okay, I gave in. I spoke to his mom. I was speaking to his brother. I was speaking to his sister. I'm like, I need to calm down. I don't know who I am. What is this? I don't do this funny thing. Like, no. So I spoke to my mom about him, and my mom was like, oh, maybe if I'm speaking to his family members and all of that, it's serious. And I've never experienced any relationship like that I am already in good terms with like the family. So he would always tell me that he's speaking to my mom and I'm speaking to his mom and dad. Why isn't he speaking to my parents and all that? I'm like, because fam, I need to be sure that this is who I'm doing the thing with before I start taking you to my family. But he was so adamant and like insisting on like speaking to my family. So I'm like, you can't even speak to my dad. He's a no, but you could speak to my mom. So he spoke to my mom. Turns out that they're from the same village and like the same place. Oh my god, my mom was off the roof. She was so happy that, oh, this guy, blah blah blah, everything. So now families are getting intertwined. This is getting serious. So we were at it and all that, but then the first red flags was the family, talking to family and all of that. I'm like, it's too early. Is this how you introduce everyone to your family? Second red flag was him saying we fought about stupid things that did not make sense. And I was saying the second red flag was when we started fighting about things that did not make sense. It would just be the head and tail of the whole thing was we were not compatible. And I told him, I said, see, I don't think you're a bad person, but I don't just think we're compatible. Like, there are certain things you do and I'm just like, I can't comprehend it. What are you doing? I can't seem to comprehend it, and you don't see anything wrong with it. So we kept at it. We just have very silly fights, and then he was having issues with like me getting intimate with him, and I'm like, I'm not at that point where, I don't know, I wasn't just, that physical attraction was not there. I'm not even going to lie. He's a good looking man, but I'm not going to say my type, because to be honest, I don't think I have a type. I don't know what my type is. Like, you know how you know for sure that I'm attracted to this person, and then you have someone on the side where you're emotionally attached to this person. I think I was getting emotionally attached to him, but I still wasn't seeing the physical part of it. Do you understand? So even sometimes to give him a kiss or something it would look as if I'm being forced. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? Mind you, I was half-baked at everything at that stage of my life. I just didn't have no experience in nothing. So having to say, okay, I should have just owned up and be like, okay, guy, this thing is not going to work. I tried doing that, but he was assuring me that I would grow into it. So instead of me to like be like, no, I know what I want, then I just didn't know how to go about that. But like now, clearly I wouldn't be with somebody that I don't fancy. I don't find person appealing to my eyes. I just wouldn't be with the person. But like then I was naive, so I was like, okay, I'll grow into it. And then eventually I started growing into it. I started caring for this guy, like genuinely, like I genuinely cared about this guy. So fast forward to 2020 July, and then I got called home because of the burial. I had to go and prepare for everything, and he came for my dad's burial. So he's there. I'm like really sad. I'm not in the mood. And then he tells me that, oh, he needs to get back home. Something happened at home. I think it was the rainy season then, so I think something happened to their house and all of that, so he needed to go fix it. I'm like, cool, bro, go do you. I'll be fine. I have my family here to take care of me and look after me. We'll be fine. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Bye. He goes away, and I tell you, the minute this man goes away, he started acting funny. I would not be able to reach him on phone. I would have to go through his brother, and then he was saying, oh, that wind from that day, like the whole light thing wasn't, it affected their light and all of that, so there was always no light to charge phone. I'm like, cool. With the whole thing of you having to go and renovate a house that wasn't in your budget, I understand. Like, do you, when you have time, call me. So I told my mom, I stayed back home after my dad's burial. I think I stayed for like 3 weeks or so. So I came back, and I'm like telling my mom, this guy is not just, he's acting funny. Mind you, my mind still did not hit say, wait, there's another girl, or Nah, I was, I was just a very naive dumb fuck. I was naive to the T. So my mom was like, "Are you sure there's no other girl?" And I'm like, "You see, that's why I don't like telling you things. Why are you putting these thoughts in my mind?" And I told her from that day, I'm not going to tell her anything. And she's like, she's sorry she has offended me, but like that's like where she sees this thing at. And I'm like, no, I don't think there's any other girl. Like, no, he wouldn't do that. He could do other things, but not like cheat on me. So I would call him, there would always be another excuse. And he posted a picture on his WhatsApp. He posted a picture where he was in a bar with a girl and a guy. He's a grown man. Why shouldn't you go to the bar? Why shouldn't you sit out with a girl? Because you have it. Like, I just didn't think anything of it. Like I said, your antaka did do me. Why won't you? That was what was doing me. I didn't think anything of it. So he then goes to like give me different excuses. Mind you, this is somebody that when I resumed work, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't get my head in a safe space because I was so used to speaking to my father like every day. Like, he wakes me up from the bed, he calls me, like he's the one waking me up, he's the one asking me if I've eaten, he's the one telling me to get up, have my bath, do this, do that. So to not have me sleeping and then nobody's waking me up, it has to be my alarm, or sometimes I think I'm hearing his voice. I was just going crazy. And then I will call you as my boo, as my pumpkin. I'll call you, I would cry to you, like I legit can't go to work, tell you everything that is wrong with me, and you'll be like, oh, it's going to be fine. Meanwhile, we're gonna get to that. So I'm like, okay, just please come back, like just come back, I'm losing my mind, come back, I can't do anything, like I just need you here. And then this nigga's going to be giving, like, he's always giving excuses. The house is not done, blah, blah. And I understood perfectly. I did not overwhelm him. I wasn't drowning him in so much talk. I was just dealing with my own shit on the side. To the extent that I wasn't sleeping. I couldn't sleep, not because of him. Like, I would always have dreams about, like, home, my dad. So I wasn't sleeping. I would take sleeping meds, nothing. I would just be up all night. Like, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. So my phone just became my friend. I would always be with my phone writing because Instagram, WhatsApp, nothing was sweet to me at that period. I go to ease myself and I come back and my friend messages me and she's like, I sent you a message on WhatsApp, reply me at least. So I go to WhatsApp to go and reply my friend's message. What do I see on WhatsApp? This nigga has done a whole photo shoot. Like, these pictures that were on his status could like qualify for pictures that will be put on a souvenir at a wedding. He did a proper photo shoot. It was her birthday. He did a proper photo shoot with her, and then she took single ones, and I couldn't. I clean my eyes. See, they pay me. I use sleep. They look this. I've been at the drugs that I took. Is that what's fucking me up? So I looked at it, and the next thing, my sister is calling me, she's shouting, she's vibrating. I'm like, down. She's shouting, what nonsense, what's the way? I'm like, oh my god, like this is not my problem. I don't care for this. She called him, she sent him voice notes, she insulted him, it sweets me. But I was just like, nah, good riddance. Like, good riddance. For you not to have the guts to tell me that you are no longer interested in this. To be honest, you decided to do this when I needed you the most. We didn't have any fights. I told you, like, the going was getting good. I was already getting there emotionally. We were so solid, like hard work, speaking to all parents on each side. Why would you now turn around and do this? Men will have you fucked. So right now, ain't nobody got time for them. Ain't nobody got time for them. But yeah, my sister was more pained than I was. But I was just like, my mind be no day there. My mom was like, shit, I told you. Just giving me that shit, I told you eyes. I told you someone was there. Like, it's not possible. But yeah, I mean, that chapter is closed. It's still in my DMs. if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and drop a comment down below, like, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and you could even leave comments about time when all these men did you dirty. Nobody's gonna judge you, we're just gonna have a good laugh about it. See you guys in my next video. I would not go MIA again, I promise.